The code going to be very simple. So first of all, we'll be including the library of PS2. That link you'll be getting, and then we are defining the connector way to connect in the Arduino. That variables we are defining here, and we are defining the variables for the motor. So the sleep and sleep, motor 1 sleep, motor 2 sleep. These two are the to enable the motor driver, so that we can control motor 1 and motor 2. So that we need to make high in our code, and these two variables are responsible for controlling the direction of motors. So if both two will be high, so it will go to the backward. If both will be low, it will go to the forward, and to take left and right, like that we can configure. And these are for controlling the speed of the motor. So this is for controlling the motor 1 speed, this is for controlling the motor 2 speed. We have to define all these variables as our output here, and by default, as I said earlier, we have to make the sleep as a high, so that both motors should be active. And initially we'll make it break in the sense there is a function I created in the bottom, the break. So break is responsible for making the sleep, again means deactivating the motor drivers and stop the motors. So PWM is 0. It means the speed will be stop, and 255 is the highest one. Then after that, we are defining the serial motor just for debugging purpose. And here it's very important, here we configuring our controller, the PS2 controller. And if there is error 0, it means there is no error and it is configured. Else if there is some error, it will show the error in the serial monitor, it is not able to configure. Next is we are reading the values, and in order to read this value, we are reading the left X and Y. We are using X in the left joystick, and from the right joystick we are taking the Y for speed. So the right one will be for controlling the speed, and the left one will be controlling the direction, left or right. And the PSB L2 button or R2 button, these two buttons will be using for either one we can use for boost in the speed. And then we have one function that is validating the signal. So we want to validate the signal, so you will find this function here. So what this function is doing, simple, it is taking the X and Y value and checking it should be greater than 0. All the values should be greater than 0 and less than 255. If this is not the case, we will make it invalid signal. So when it is valid, we are calling a function called control car. If it is not valid, we are breaking we are stopping the motors. And if it is valid, so we are going to a function, we are calling a function called control car. So what control car function is doing here is that it is taking the X value, Y value, and whether I want in the full speed or not. So first of all, I am reading the value of my right Y, which is for speed, and we are reading the value from, like, the value would be very high, so I want the value which is for controlling the speed. If it is getting from 0 to 255, I need to convert it to 255 to minus 255, so that we can get to know when I need to go back and when we need to go forward. So for that we are using minus here. So if it is 0, it means we need to stop. If it is positive, we have to go forward. If it is negative, we have to go backward. And same thing for this, to taking left and right. So I want, if I want full speed, then I increase the motor speed by by multiplying to 1.5 and turning speed also. Otherwise, if I don't want full speed, so I will make it multiply by 0.5, so the speed will be low. And this is we are printing just for the debugging purpose. I am checking if the absolute value of the motor speed is less than or equal to 15, and your turn speed also less than 15. So in that case, we'll stop that. We don't want anything to do when the speed is less than 15. So it is like we are adding some padding inside so that we can stop the motor. Otherwise we'll check if the motor speed is greater than 15, means we are checking the positive. If it is positive, we'll go forward. So in the forward function, what we are doing here, in the forward function, as I said earlier, we have to make direction both motor 1 direction, motor 2 direction as low so it will go forward. And then we are defining the speed, what speed should be. As I told earlier, the speed should be 0 to 255. So I am using constant because the speed may go greater than 255. So the constant function, it will limit. So if it will go more than 255, still I will be getting 255 only. So it will limit the speed between 0 to 255. For limiting, we use constraint. Okay, so if it is positive, we'll go forward. If it is negative, in the negative also, if it is less than minus 15, then we'll go backward. If it is not greater than or less than this motor speed, if it is not greater than 15 nor less than minus 15, then we'll check whether I need to go left or right. So by checking the same condition with turn speed. If the turn speed is positive, we'll go right. If the turn speed is negative, we'll go left. And so for turning left and right, you can see the same, almost the same thing. If I want to go backward, I'll make both direction as high. If I want to take left, I'll make direction one as positive, another one negative, means high, and this one as a low. And if I want to take right, I'll make this one as a low, the first one as a low, second one as a high. And the brake I have already explained. So after doing that, you just need to upload the program.